Welcome to the Network Build Grow podcast, the show where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals share their stories, lessons learned, and powerful strategies for building relationships and growing their circle of influence. With Melissa Taylor, your host, each week we'll bring you actionable insights to help you build a better network and a better business. Let's dive in.
Hello, we are back with Fernanda. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday. And I actually had the pleasure of seeing you earlier this week as well. I had a community social.
That's right. I've been doing a lot of networking and I've been leveraging what I can from NBG. So thank you for everything you do. It's amazing.
Oh, you are welcome. We are just glad to have you. So tell us a little bit first about your business and who you serve and what it is that you provide to the world.
Sure. So I came from a corporate background leading supply chain teams. And so I'm leveraging my knowledge of leadership and managers, like developing managers, developing teams. Mm-hmm. And I am offering those services now as part of my people development consultancy. Part of my people development consultancy includes workshops, training programs, onboarding programs, and coaching. I'm leveraging a lot of my knowledge acquired over 20 years of leadership to put those things together. Mm-hmm. And I'm helping companies that are maybe struggling a little bit with their team dynamics, either through high turnover, low engagement, maybe some complaints, or just a general recognition that their teams need to function better. Mm-hmm. Or maybe the culture needs improvement. Maybe there's a lack of trust. All of those things I just mentioned are things I've dealt with and I've been able to improve at the prior companies where I used to work in. So I'm taking my expertise in those areas and I want to help companies with those problems.
That's great. So what types of companies are, kind of where's the sweet spot for you? Like, is it the smaller companies, the mid-level, kind of where are you kind of located in there?
So I'm still kind of trying to navigate that space to figure out exactly what my ideal client would be. However, I believe I could help many sizes of companies from medium and larger. And the only reason I'm not saying small companies is because typically the small companies might not have enough people in them or even like an HR function per se. Mm-hmm. So I think my clients are companies that have an HR function. Maybe they don't have a learning and development function. That's where I would come in. I could also offer fractional services for learning and development, or just project-based consulting for learning and development. And I think those are the companies that I could help the most. However, that's not to say if larger companies wanted to work with me, I still feel like I have a lot to bring and I have a lot to offer from my own corporate experience to larger companies.
Yeah. So team dynamics is obviously a big driving factor of how things work within a corporation or within a company, from, like you said, culture to low productivity and all those things. So really a valuable service that you're providing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very passionate about this stuff. So I can talk about it all day.
And you do talk about it a lot because you actually have a podcast. Tell us about the podcast that you started this year. Was it this year you started that?
Well, so I actually have two things going on YouTube. One, I have a podcast, and then I have like a YouTube channel for leadership development. Oh. And the YouTube channel for leadership development is new-ish. It started like 2 months ago. And it's I'll give you the link later if you want to put it on the show notes.
Yeah, put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's basically under my name, Fernanda Brasileiro, and it says people development as my tagline. But I actually have a podcast called Connectedness, that's related to my other business, which is called Filled Cups. And Filled Cups is a social connections brand in Charlotte, where I host social events to help people make friends. And sometimes I host singles events too. Those are a lot of fun. And the podcast, we talk about things like personal relationships, dating, a lot of friendship content. and some personal growth related content, like, finding confidence. I've had a few people on my podcast. One of them is definitely an NBG member. I've had Lou on my podcast.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm actually just scheduled Paula Lesko on the podcast. So
Yeah.
her services with divorce or people who are going through divorce. So basically connectedness kind of covers like a wide array of topics related to it.
Yeah. And it goes hand in hand with your business consulting, because being connected to other people on the team, in the corporation, on a personal level as well as a professional level, and those communication skills are universal, like that, on both sides. Yeah.
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 And I agree that in workplaces where employees are connected, especially if they have trust, which is like the foundational element for team culture is trust. And I it's kind of sad, Melissa, to even think about, but you would be surprised how many teams are out there that don't have trust.
Wow.
And one of the big voices in this space is Patrick Lencioni, and he has a triangle, like a pyramid, and at the very bottom of that pyramid is trust. And he's like, if you don't have trust, you don't have anything else.
Yeah.
And so part of the connection piece and how it relates is, for you to have trust, you need to have that connection, right? And that's where my two businesses overlap a little bit. It's on the connection.
Yeah. They absolutely overlap. And that leads us perfectly into a discussion about networking, because networking is all about connection and trust.
Yes.
And so how do you leverage networking for your business, for your businesses?
Yes. So I'll be honest, I'm on a learning journey with networking, and I'm learning, and I'm actually asking people what has worked for them. I've listened to some of your podcasts so that I could form my learning too. Because at first I was just kind of like willy-nilly going to any networking event I could, doing the whole, like somebody said, business card sharks thing, where you're just going around handing a business card. And that's what I was doing at first. But I sometimes would come home either feeling exhausted or feeling like maybe it was a waste of my time. Like I was like, okay, I just spent 2 hours. I met like 30 people. I don't know if any of these people are actually gonna stay in my life in any meaningful way. And I was like, is this all there is to networking? So I actually started trying out different events and different groups just to see like which kinds of setups would be a good fit for me and my needs right now. And I actually really love NBG because of the professional development that you guys offer. The huddles are amazing. I haven't had a chance to try out a lot of the other events yet, but I did call into the last signature event, and it was so educational. So I'm definitely going to the next one. And I'm going to your speaker thing that you're doing.
Oh, good.
Next week, I think.
Next week. Yeah, April 29th.
Yeah. And for me, I came to the conclusion, and I mean, everyone is different, right? Everyone has different needs. But for me personally, at this stage in building my business, I value networking events and groups that offer learning. So if the group has a presentation, I'm like, okay, sign me up. But if the group is more unstructured, just kind of like a mixer, those could be fun too. Don't get me wrong, especially if it's at a lively like atmosphere. But those don't necessarily fulfill all of my needs. And the other thing I noticed too, at first I was trying to do like, let me talk to everybody in the room, because I'm a social
butterfly.
I love talking to everybody. But then I was like, well, but it feels kind of goes against my principle of connecting with people. And I'm like, so I decided to just let that go, like relax and get deep in conversations with people, even if it meant that in a group of 30, I only talked to 2 or 3. That's okay. I think I'm okay with that at this point.
Yeah. So you've gone from the quantity to the quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you definitely make, like you said, much better connections that will last and be
Hmm.
more fruitful.
That's how I'm feeling right now for sure. Like,
Hmm.
and it's okay. Like I can, if it takes me longer to make more connections, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. Because the trust will be there.
hmm.
Yeah, that belief, that understanding, like you said, the connectedness back
Hmm.
to what you definitely believe in. That's
Yeah.
great. If you network for your business, you already know follow up is everything when it comes to growing relationships and driving success. But here's the thing, most of us want to follow up well. We just get stuck. Staying consistent, keeping it personal, making it stand out, it's hard. That's why I use NetEffect.io. It makes follow-up simple, cuts through all the noise, and helps me stay on top of every relationship without dropping the ball. I never miss a follow-up, and honestly, my network wouldn't be the same without it. So check it out, neteffect.io. And right now, you can use promo code NBG50 for 50% off of your first month. neteffect.io, your secret weapon to unforgettable follow-up. So tell me, you said you were in corporate America and then you
Yeah.
started this business and you also started the connectedness kind of groups that get together and do some fun things to connect. What prompted all of that? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of pushed you over to the dark side? Like, what kind of moved you over to more the entrepreneurial side?
Yeah, thank you. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have tried side hustles before. So, you know
Hmm.
how they say sometimes a lot of entrepreneurship initiatives fail, right? And that's okay because we learn the lessons and we apply it to our next one. So
Hmm.
I had a side hustle that failed in 2016, and it
Hmm.
was e-commerce.
Mm.
For plus size and maternity clothing. And
Mm.
I gave it my best for like 3 years, but it was definitely my 5 to 9. It was on my I had a 9 to 5, and I was doing I changed the name of the business a couple of times. It was called Curves Ahead, and then it was called Naomi, and I the it failed. I had to give up. I had to give it up. But what I learned at the time was I need to learn more about marketing, and business business having a business a lot harder than people give it credit for. you wear
Hmm.
you have to wear a lot of hats, you have to learn a lot of things, you have to manage your time. So that was one lesson. So then I continued in corporate, and I was doing okay. I had a pretty good career, and you could say I had a very successful career in supply chain planning leadership. um, what I think it got to a point where I wanted something more meaningful, and
Hmm.
I wanted to create something for myself and for others that I could add value in a different way, instead of being they call it FTEs, right? Full-time employees of companies. Like, instead of being an FTE, I want to be more of a thought partner, an advisor, somebody who can come to a company and help them get better, and
Hmm.
then say, bye, let's see you next year or whatever, or see you next quarter, and
Go help the next one.
go help the next one. Yeah, that's kind of
Hmm.
the vision I set up for myself with the people development consultancy.
Hmm.
And then for filled cups, it was more of a, how can I take my strengths and make them into a business that helps solve a social problem. And the
Hmm.
social problem was the loneliness epidemic, which
Hmm.
a lot of people know about or talk about. It's still kind of, I think the report from the Surgeon General came out 12 years ago, but we're still talking about the loneliness epidemic. And it only got worse with the rise of social media and remote work.
Hmm. Yeah, the rise of social media, the pandemic, and some
Mhm.
people still just not getting back out into the world.
Mhm.
It's a lot of different reasons why loneliness is definitely an epidemic.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's great that you're doing something about it.
Yeah, thank you. It feels good. It's one of those businesses that puts a smile on my face, and
Yeah.
always on everybody's face when I'm talking to them about it. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And I'm not, I'm really proud to say, Melissa, that since I started Filled Cups, there's at least 200 people who became friends through my events, because I have them on a monthly basis for about a year and a half now. It started in November of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And some events I'll have like 20 to 40 people, it depends on the month.
Yeah.
And I know people who have personally told me, Fernanda, I met my friend at your event.
That's
And they
so
hang
great.
out, they're good friends and things like that. So I'm very happy about that.
That is so, so wonderful. Well, let's do some rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you some questions and you're just going to, first thing that pops into your mind.
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite way to kind of open a conversation with somebody at a networking event?
Okay. I love humor. So I usually try to make some kind of joke about the situation, whether they have a drink or don't have a drink, or whether somebody walked away too abruptly. I like to open with humor.
You like to open with humor. Okay, that's great. All right, next one. How do you, after you've met people, whether it's 2 people, 3 people, or 20 people, how do you, after the event, follow up with them?
Yeah. So in the past, it was not structured, or there wasn't a process for this. It was very like, oh, that person's cool, maybe I should say hi. But now, now I actually have a process I established where when I get home, I take all the cards that I got, I put them on a Google Sheets. It's like an informal version of a CRM, and I make a note to myself, hey, follow up after the event. So then I follow up and I'll say, hey, nice to meet you. It was really cool talking to you about XYZ. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. Like, because I'm not in this just to try to get something from networking. I actually want to help people with connecting. Like, I know a lot of people and I want to be a connector like you, Melissa.
Yeah. That's so great. Well, woman after my own heart.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, great. So now it's 2 weeks later.
Okay.
What do you do? Like, how do you make sure that you're, following up with people 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 6 weeks later?
Okay, so 2 weeks might be a little too close for me. I think I'm still like on a 3-month
Cycle.
cadence. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I actually have in my spreadsheet, I have a date of when we connected, and I have a formula because I'm an Excel geek. Aside from all the other things I do, coming from supply chain. I'm definitely a spreadsheet junkie, and so I have a formula that indicates that I haven't talked to them in over 3 months, and they get into my queue to send them a note. And if depending on the person, I might say, hey, you want to go for coffee again, or do you want to? Yeah, that's usually my follow-up process.
That's great. That's great. You have a process. I mean, you're ahead of the game with that. Most people don't even have a process regardless. So that's great. Okay. One more. Okay. Since you said you're kind of relatively new at networking, or you're still in the learning curve, but what is a good piece of advice for somebody that's actually starting from the beginning right now?
Yeah, I would say this one actually ties to the friend, all the studying I've done for Field Cups about social connections and social skills, is when you go to a networking event, be genuinely interested in what the other person is saying, active listening, ask curious questions, ask follow-up questions about what you just heard. Yeah. It makes the other person feel heard. It enables that connection, and it's not because I have seen the opposite where we're in a social event and you are talking to somebody, or a networking event. You're talking to somebody and they're looking over your shoulder, seeing who else is out there, and they're not even listening. That's not a great way to navigate networking. It's try to have my advice is to try to have real conversations where you're actually listening. Yeah.
And I like that you brought up asking those follow-up questions. Excuse me. In the book, Networking is a Contact Sport, that I wrote, we call them the X Games.
Okay.
So the X games are like, can you expand on that? Can you explain that? Can you give me an example? All these words that start with EX. So we call them the X games. So
Oh, I love this. I haven't read the book yet, but I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna put it on a reminder because I like the X framework. It's easy to remember.
It's easy to remember, right? Because you just think of any words like the X games. Just give me an example. Yeah, expand on that. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I usually say, "Tell me more."
Yeah, same thing, same idea. Yeah, absolutely the same idea. Well, this has been a great conversation. We are so thrilled that you are part of Network Build Grow. We love when people come into the group that have that heart for connecting with other people on a human, social basis as well as a professional basis. So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. Have a great weekend, and thanks everybody.
You too.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Network Build Grow podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or professional. And of course, if you're not yet part of our community, visit networkbuildgrow.com to connect with us. Until next time, keep building and keep growing.